Hello, it's your friendly neighborhood host JT Wheatley back for another episode of the History of Comic Books podcast, this time with another edition of the classics, with this featuring the Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters by Mike Grell. This is a now classic 3-issue miniseries that was launched back in 1987 that finds our titular Green Arrow Oliver Queen moving from Star City to Seattle, where his girlfriend Deanna Lance / the Black Canary is living, and sets about deciding to ditch his fancy costume and trick arrows for a more down-to-earth look. He's now wearing a green hooded costume and also uses regular standard bow and arrows while hunting down a serial killer, all while Black Canary is trying to take down the drug kingpin. Meanwhile, mysterious a female assassin named Shadow makes an appearance as well. Always has ramifications for everyone involved. This is a now classic miniseries that represents one of the first Green Arrow miniseries that was so popular that Mike Grell was actually able to launch a full series for the Green Arrow, the first one ever at DC Comics, that lasted for 11 years afterwards. And Grell does a great job just really bringing a gritty attitude to Green Arrow, which on surface seems like kind of a dated, fanciful character, but he really does a great job, like bringing him down the roots. He has the cool hooded look is very cool. It's of course indicative of how he was translated in the Arrow TV show on the CW, and he used to trick arrows. And of course, this is where Shadow, who was a pretty big character in Green Arrow's supporting cast, also makes an appearance, and his relationship with Deanna Lance is also explored very much. So yeah, it's just a great, nice, gritty story, and it's actually one of the overlooked but still pretty important books of the 1980s that took the classic characters from either Marvel or DC and added a nice, gritty take to them, well, though Will's still very recognizable. And this, Mike Grell does a great job. He really reinvents Oliver Queen for the more modern age with a great story to boot that doesn't pull any punches either. Like, there's some pretty brutal stuff that goes on in this comic book, and it shows that comic books can be for older audiences too, even the superhero genre. I've heard some people complain that, superheroes should only be PG-13 at best, but I think the movies like Logan or the more recent Suicide Squad, and of course classic comic books like The Watchmen, and of course this Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters, show that no, comic books can be told in mature content as well, and this is a great example. So yes, you're looking for a good adult read that's based on the classic comic book character, look no further than Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters by Mike Grell, because that is a true classic.
Positive than a New Day pancake, more fun than a super kick party. It's the wrestling podcast from the host, who is the hammer swinging, burrito eating, well, you know the rest, of Thunder Talk, Sexy Thor. It's the Ring of Thunder, found in the Thunderverse and among the great podcasts of the ESO network.
Now it is November 18th, 2021, time for the favorite comic of the week. 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton, number 6, by Kyle Starks and Chris Schweizer, that finds the conclusion to this crazy comedic mystery in which, the 6 sidekicks of Trigger Keaton, who was like this crazy Chuck Norris-like action TV star who drove all his sidekicks throughout his years crazy, but they managed to team up when he gets murdered to find out who did it. They finally confront the guy who is responsible for his death, and natural, crazy hilarity and action ensues. Kyle Starks just did a great original story from beginning to end. This is a hilarious comedy with some great action, nice satire about what it's like to work in the show business, and it pulls no punches with the character of Trigger Keaton, who, quite frankly, was a pretty awful human being, but you understand why they were still loyal to him, because honestly they wouldn't be where they were if it wasn't for him, even though he's a pretty wretched punk. And great, I understand that he's a kind of an anagram. While you can see the physical similarities to Chuck Norris, though by all accounts Chuck Norris is actually pretty nice to his co-stars in real life. He's kind of an anagram like this classic diva movie stars that treat their underlings like crud, but it's still great fun, and it's matched perfectly by Schweizer's cartoony art, which really delivers in the great action scene at the end, which is hilarious in itself. When you match it with Starks' dialogue and storytelling, this is one of the best, most original comic books come out recently, one of the funniest in recent years. You will laugh from beginning to end. It's just a great read. You're looking for a good laugh, look no further than 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. That's my favorite comic book of the week. And with that, we'll conclude this edition of the Classics. Join me again next week. And until then, go on and enjoy yourself a good comic book. And if you can, pick up Green Arrow, The Longbow Hunters by Mike Grell, because that is a true classic.